Extra value meals are back. That means 10 tender, juicy McNuggets and medium fries and a drink are just $8. Only at McDonald's.
For limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Hawaii, Alaska, and California, and for delivery.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
This episode brought to you by the following patrons: Heather, Min, Jason, Madeline, Alyssa, Laura, Jeremy with the laser eyes, Allie, Kristen, and Tia. And all the patrons want you to know you're loved, you're listened to, and you're a valuable member of this awesome Horror Virgin community. And if you want to hang out with us, do so in the Facebook group where we will be talking about our zombie outbreak plans daily. Paige?
Yes.
I know you don't understand this because you don't experience seasons like we do.
Oh, yeah. What are they?
The seasons start to change and things get colder, and I refuse to not ride my skateboard around my neighborhood, even if it's cold outside. So I went online last night and bought a ski mask and goggles for snowboarding that I will use to ride around my neighborhood like an asshole.
This is going to end with you face down on the pavement as they were like, I saw him. He robbed the house and then ran away on a skateboard.
I thought you meant it's going to end up with me like face on the pavement because I fell because I didn't have it on right or whatever. And then someone runs up to me and I was like, but they have magnets that hold it in place.
Thank you for tuning into Horror Virgin. I'm Paige.
And I'm your Horror Virgin Todd, which means I don't like scary movies, but you guys make me watch them. And this week, Paige made us watch Blood Quantum. Which, Paige, this is my first time seeing the movie. I'm assuming it's yours, question mark?
No, I saw this for the first time during pandemic when it finally hit Shudder.
Were you one of the people who watched it when everyone was talking about it in like the Discord and stuff like that? Because This is one of those movies that people in the community like lost their minds about.
Yes.
And really like put campaigns together to try and get it to win a listener request, but it never did. It got close a few times, but never fully got there.
I watched it before that, actually. So Jake and I, huge Reservation Dogs fans, which was airing at the same time, shares some cast with this movie. But also, we had heard the buzz on this from like other friends in the film industry that it was going to be really good and it was coming out. And so literally like as soon as it was available to stream during pandemic, we watched it. But I hadn't watched it since. It was one of those things where like I knew I wanted to do it on the show. We had tried to schedule it a couple times where we were like, does it fit here? Does it fit there? And then kind of forgot about it until we were doing this month. And I was like, oh my God, we never did it. And like, this for me is really interesting because it's a good short 90-minute zombie movie, but it does a lot of things differently than a bunch of other zombie movies. And I love that. I love innovation.
Paige, 30 minutes in, it goes from like, oh, you thought this was going to be a day zero zombie apocalypse movie?
Yep.
You idiot. Cut to black, title card that says 6 months later. And you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was so ballsy. And man, I really did I hated this movie because it scared me at times.
Sure. And it's very gory.
Yes,
I did not remember it being that gory.
It's so gory. When the guy falls out of like the second story, like it's inside.
He's
but like
dangling by his intestines.
Yeah. And then he's hanging by his junk. His stomach junk, by the way, not his testicle junk, but his stomach junk.
Right.
And then trailer shoots him in the head and his head explodes while it's so gross. Like, and the lady who gets like chainsawed through the brain, it's gross. Like the whole thing is gross.
I mean, it's a zombie movie.
Yeah. It's what I expected when I realized it was a zombie movie, you know?
Yeah.
And man, I really do think they did a great job with it. Like, it clearly is a low budget. Like at the beginning, there are so many opening production sequence cards that just make you think like, we get it, Canada. You funded a movie. Calm down. It was so funny. But like, so I'm sure it was a low budget, but I think they did a great job with it.
I think there's a reason for the credits because I wrote this down as it was happening because I was like, the amount of credits is crazy. I think one set of them is the credits for the actual movie. When they made the movie, the credits they put on it. And that makes sense because...
And then distro. Yeah. Distribution. Yeah.
Because it's like over story and things are happening. And they're the kind of credits that were like, perfect. But then the other credits before those credits are literally just black screen, white writing, which I do think was distro.
Yeah, that makes sense. But they do really great things with a really low budget, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I don't want to give it away. I do know what the budget was, but I don't want to give it away yet. You'll have to tune in later to find that out.
Yeah.
And that's what we call in the business a tease. But Paige, so what did you think about the movie? This your probably second or third time with it?
My second time, yeah.
Okay.
I had forgotten huge sections of the movie. There were things that I remembered about it, and I remembered really liking it. But story-wise, I was like, okay, I think there was I think it's the outbreak, and then they end up at the thing. But I had forgotten so much of the fact that we go from day 1 to 6 months in. I'd forgotten that jump. I had forgotten that the tribe is immune, which I think is a fascinating inclusion.
Oh, it's on purpose for sure. It is a flip of when the Europeans came over and gave all the natives the plague, more or less, because they were not immune to the things that the Europeans were immune to.
Yes, and and even within this movie, there are still white people who are not immune, who selfishly infect people, just not even thinking outside themselves of what could happen. And there's so much symbolism around it, where she burns the blanket, so much.
And that character trying to bring the plague blanket with them, which it was a thing his daughter was on, and there would be some emotional attachment to it. So it's it's shown as isn't this sad for this guy who just lost his daughter? But it also really hits that metaphor of the flip of the Europeans coming over to America and then getting everyone sick, whether they intended to or not. There are a lot of times.
I'm sure they intended to.
Well, in a lot of situations it was plague blankets were a thing, but I mean there were also interactions that got people sick that were not intended.
I meant the filmmakers.
Oh, yeah.
I was that's definitely intentional. But yes, no, you're right. The actual people.
It's probably intentional both times, really. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
But I do think there were some interactions where the Europeans did not realize that they because they lived way closer to human and animal feces, they were immune to way more than the natives of America were.
Right.
Because they were more hygienic than we were when we came over.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a lot that goes into that, but that's part of it, and that's funny to me.
That's definitely part of it, but there's also this they don't know about germs yet, so they don't understand, and I think it's actually different in this movie where there's a very clear understanding of we are immune and you are not, and therefore precautions have to be taken, and they ignore them the whole time. They even comment on it of white people hate to be told what to do by people who are not white, and it gets people killed multiple times, and you're just one of the things I love about this movie, on top of all of that, I think this movie does what all good zombie movies do, is A, focus on what the real day-to-day life would be both on day 0 and 6 months in, of we are not seeing an army. We're not seeing a super soldier. We're seeing a guy who is a cop, kind of, and rolling he can't get any help. He's just deputizing people left and right.
He deputizes his dad halfway through the movie and gives him a samurai sword. It's awesome.
Dude, his dad is such a fucking legend. It's incredible.
This is going to sound a little nuts.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted it to be a U.S. cavalry sword that he used instead of a samurai sword. Just because of the symbolism of it all, but that may have been too on the nose, honestly. But man, and honestly, he's so good with the samurai sword. Who gives a shit? But I wanted that.
Here's what I wanted, and I couldn't stop thinking about it because I've been up to my eyeballs in Ghost of Yotei, and I was oh my God. Hardcore period piece samurai zombie movie, a serious one, not a goofy one, not because Jake was there's a handful from the 70s and 80s. I was no. I want serious, period accurate drama. Get the guy who directed Godzilla -1. Get that guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then let him make a period accurate zombie movie with samurais. Give it to me right now.
Can I pitch it to you right now?
Yes.
It's the turn of the century. Let's just say 1860 or whatever, right?
Love it.
Tom Cruise goes to Japan to teach them how to army.
No.
Boom. Zombie apocalypse. Last Samurai. I love it.
I only accept it if Tom Cruise is the one bringing the zombie virus, much like the metaphor of this film, and then the samurai is just own his shit and slice his head off a bunch.
Would watch.
Great.
I mean, not that. I would definitely watch like a samurai zombie movie. Are you kidding me? I don't care what the premise. You could have a turkey walking around talking to people and having those people not even wonder why the talkie can Turk Japanese. Did I say talkie can Turk Japanese? Paige, I've got to go. It's too late. We are recording this too late. I cannot. My brain has shut it down. I'm so sorry. Leave it in. I don't even care.
I have not watched the new Predator stuff. I just haven't had the time. I would love to. I'm going to sit down and do it all in one day, I'm sure. But just like I wanted Predators versus samurais, I want zombies versus samurais.
Yes.
But I also, much like I wanted the Native American vampire hunters from Sinners, I want that movie.
Oh,
That's why I love this movie. Put zombies in places where you're having to view how people who are not like you react. Like, zombies are societal movies. They're movies about how people are different and how people are the same and people in ways that you don't understand, and how compassion and selfishness really become heightened, terrifying sides of the same coin in this life or death situation. And I feel like this movie does a fucking great job of all of that on what I assume is a minuscule budget, but it looks good.
It does. It really does.
Because this looks like it's a few million, and I know it's not.
It's a few million.
Okay.
It's not a bunch of million, though. Like, I'll just tell you, just because, why not?
Yeah, let's go.
It's 4.5 million.
This looks great for 4.5 million. That looks really good.
Yeah, if they had shot the whole thing at one location, I'd be like, man, I could see you getting away on 4.5 million at this quality level. But this is all over the place. There are so many set pieces. There's so many sets alone. Like, they spent a lot and they made it work, man.
Huge sets. And it's a period film.
Yeah, it's 81.
It's 1981 in the movie.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that from the last time I watched it, but that's how they get around your cell phone problem.
Yeah.
But like, this is alternate universe 1981, and it's period accurate too for 4 million, which is tough to do.
Very tough to do. Anyway, I was really impressed by it. Yeah, I really did like the flip of the sort of Europeans coming over and just messing up life for the people who lived here before.
Yes.
And I thought that this movie did a really good job of showing, like, I'm sure that they looked at the Europeans many different ways, but like thinking about what it must have been like to be them going through that. I think this movie does a great job of showing what they must have thought, at least in two directions, right?
Sure.
You know, the ones that are zombified, they're Zed already.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that'll just kill you at sight, right? And those are dangerous. Right. We need to worry about those.
Right.
But the ones that are more dangerous are the ones that seem, for lack of a better term, cool and kind and friendly and want to like help and want to be a part of our community and like we want to coexist. They will also kill you, perhaps. You know, like they might also kill you.
Right.
I thought it was a crazy flip of what it must have been like for the Europeans to come over here.
Right.
From that perspective. And I thought it was very, very well done. So I really dug it. This is like, I think, a great example of when you rage about movies that spend $150 million.
Yes.
And the story is shit. And so the movie turns out kind of lackluster because it's a beautifully shot, expensive, fine script movie, you know? This movie is a $4.5 million movie, but the story's so good, you're like engrossed in it. Yeah. I don't know. I thought they did a really good job. This is a great example of that, Paige.
I feel like this is a great example of that. This is also a great example of, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day where they had seen the Scream trailer, the newest Scream trailer, and they're like, it just doesn't look like much. And I was like, well, yes, because every Scream movie is the same. And why do we need the same movie 7 times, right? There are things you can do with sequels, with, you know, retreading a genre that's been made a bunch of times. And a lot of it is to shift the perspective, shift the focus.
Yeah.
Who is encountering this scary thing? Why is it different for them than other people? And when you start to shift those focuses, it opens up new places for stories to go and it makes them more interesting. I feel like Romulus is another great example of that, of like, it's not Ripley. It's not people we know. It's people who live in this world who are also facing the same thing. And I understand the criticism of fan service, etc., but like, you have to admit that made it kind of a more interesting story because now we're dealing with different people.
Oh, it's one of the reasons Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie.
Yes. And without studio interference, maybe Alien 3 could have been similar, but unfortunately...
Swing and a miss, studio.
You get it.
Sorry, Fincher.
Yeah. It's also why, like, Dream Warriors is a really interesting nightmare because it's them learning to fight back and fighting back. And, like, when you shift the perspective and shift who is doing what and who is being impacted, it makes a more interesting story. And so that's what I would encourage people making sequels to consider, is not to just reinvent the wheel, but to, you know, consider things from a different perspective.
Yeah, Paige's take on if you should make a sequel, her advice is don't. Paige, here's what I found sort of interesting at the beginning of the movie. Like, Trailer's dad, the granddad with the samurai sword, he like gets very concerned and kind of loses his mind about the fish that's like flopping around after it's dead, right? But like,
one of the best cold opens I've seen in years. But yes,
I was gonna make a joke, but I do have to pause my joke mid punch or mid setup to say I love when a movie does a cold open like that. Like, it doesn't answer any questions, but it raises so many questions 100%. That make you lean in so hard, and then it's like, fade to black.
Yep.
I ain't gonna tell you shit yet, brother.
Yep.
You gotta sit down and watch me tell you how we got to this, or what's gonna happen because of this, or you're gonna learn what's causing this. Like, all of those questions, to put them on Main Street in the first 3 minutes and then title card. I was like, well done. I'm in this.
That cold open, less than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's like a 90-second cold open. That is fucking expert level.
And there's no dialogue, really.
None.
You're just like, what is happening? Yeah.
Don't need it.
It's so good.
That's 1 page of scene directions in the script is 100% what that is.
I know. And it's like 90 seconds of like amazing setup, right?
Oh, if you handed me that script and I read those scene directions, I was like, fuck it, I'm in. I don't care if there's not a line in this movie. If it's just all scene directions, let's fucking go.
It's like that Robert Redford movie where he's on his boat and he like gets like there's like an accident and he has to fix the boat and there's no dialogue and I slept through it. But Paige, to get back to my joke already in progress.
Yes.
Grandpa Rye like loses his mind about the fish that comes back to life like he's never seen a big mouth Billy Bass. Like, bro, he's just singing a song. You got to turn the volume up.
Okay. Hear me out.
Grandpa Rye, you loved it? Definitely a Grandpa Rye, right?
Love Grandpa Rye.
Came up with that in the moment.
There you go. In the scene in his office where his son comes by, Trailer comes by, and they open the cooler. Tarantino glow out of the cooler.
Oh, yeah.
Then the Big Mouth Billy Bass song starts. Like, that's what I want.
I mean, honestly, would have loved it. Yeah.
Would have loved.
Grandpa Rye's got a bandit on the back of his neck for no reason.
I mean, so you have not had a chance to play Ghost of Yotei at all, right?
No, I've been lost in work and Borderlands 4.
Sure. I have become an unstoppable killing machine and still have only killed 2 of the Yotei 6. I've just been running around petting bears and collecting armor and shit.
Yotei, all right.
Yotei. She has a like strip of all the names of people who killed her family, the Yotei 6.
She being the main character in the video game?
Correct, Atsu.
Okay.
And anytime she kills one of them, she wipes their blood across the name as she cleans her sword.
Oh my God, that's so badass.
It's fucking lit. It's so great.
Hell yeah,
I love
awesome.
it so much. But if Grandpa Rye had that and it was just zombie names, but it was just like, and he just blood for each one he takes out.
It's so funny.
It'd be great.
It's just like guttural gurrs, like GRRs. Yeah, that'd be great.
And then one that just says Kevin.
He knows what he did.
Yeah.
I actually really do love the way, well, maybe not the way what happens to Lysol's character, but I really think that character is cool and like complex, and he goes from like protecting the community at all costs to like completely destroying it because he thinks he knows what's best. And it's ultimately because like they're allowing survivors from the townies, the people who aren't immune, into the community, and there's a danger there, right? I mean, we see
it is a risk.
Yeah, we see part of that.
And I do feel like there's an interesting dichotomy between between him and Charlie being Joseph's girlfriend, who seems to seek out and bring survivors over. And he sees that as her essentially putting white people over people who would be at risk from them getting affected, which is not 100% wrong, but it's a complicated issue of like her having empathy and wanting to save people, but ultimately putting people at peril. I think he is a very interesting villain, similar in some ways to Killmonger in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Where when you're like listening to him do his whole speech, you're like, he's not wrong though.
Yeah, you're like, I mean, I get it. I wish he wasn't doing this, but man, I see how he got there. Yeah.
Right. Like it's what he's doing about it is not great, but his reasons are both valid and interesting, and I can understand how people would have feelings about it. Yeah. Right.
But that is sort of the breaking point for him. And it's honestly like a really, really good metaphor for like the kind of people who kind of gaslight themselves into doing terrible things in the name of like their version of, quote, the greater good.
Right. The greater good.
Yeah. And I do love how like a lot of zombie movies are focused on how the zombies create the apocalypse, and the zombies are a problem, but they're not the problem.
Sure.
The survivors and humanity and the way humanity deals with what happens in the apocalypse is the main problem. And this movie like really does a great job of that. Because like people are what's dangerous in this, you know, and that's what that's what it is in pretty much every zombie movie. It's the people who are really dangerous. And like the real horror about the kind of people who do this thing, right? Like exert their will for their quote version of the greater good. Like the sad thing is that like we let them survive too long until like it's too late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and this will eventually do 28 years later, but I feel like people have mixed feelings about the movie. I understand. I'm in it for the trilogy because I feel like we will get more answers as we go. Fine. But in 28 years later, there is a lot more discussion of like survivors versus infected, but not just that, but survivors inside the community versus survivors who choose to live outside. And that dichotomy. Okay. And that is fucking fascinating. And I am actually excited about it.
I also think this movie kind of nails the who's going to end up being the betrayer, because if you look at it, it's like a young man who doesn't fit in with the society that they're in, right? Who's like been traumatized in their youth, who doesn't have a support system, and he convinces himself that violence is justified just because like he knows what's best. It's like exactly what happens to a lot of young men who feel disenfranchised by the system they're in.
Yes.
And honestly, if he just had like YouTube, he'd be like 3 unrequested videos deep on the algorithm and be red pilled by that. And then this would happen too. So like, it's just it's crazy that they called it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's what I think is really great about this movie, because we have a dichotomy in his brother, where his brother also did not have a great childhood, does have a mom, is similarly disenfranchised, sometimes gets in trouble.
But his brother is accepted by the community.
Yes.
Lysol is not.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think it also goes to show that like, and they kind of tackle this with his brother of like, you have a choice in how you choose to live and interact with this community, with the system. And if you are trying to build something, because his girlfriend's pregnant, there's a whole thing, you have to kind of choose how you're going to show up.
Yeah.
And it does. He even has a great conversation with Lysol where he's like, look, man, I understand a lot of bad things happen to you, but at a certain point, you're being an asshole.
Yeah. At some point, you just got to stop being an asshole, bro.
Right.
Yeah. And Paige, at some point, we got to stop being assholes and just get into doing this movie scene by scene.
Let's do it.
We got to give the people what they want.
We open on one set of credits, white letters, black screen, 4 different slides for Canada.
Yeah, we get it, Canada. You funded a movie.
We get it. Great job. Thank you.
Honestly, nailed it. But like, we get it. Like, this is hat on a hat on a hat on a hat.
Yeah.
And it's too many hats.
Sorry about the World Series, but thank you for this.
And the tariffs, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that too. And poutine.
I'm not sorry about poutine. I'm just going to be on the record. Poutine slaps.
No, thank you for gifting us the poutine.
Yes.
Like you gifted us this film.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Although I had poutine with fried cheese curds like earlier this year, and I saw God. Anyway, so those credits happen. They're pretty boring. But then we get a quote on the screen that says, "Take heed to thyself that thou make no treaty with the inhabitants of the land, for when they whore themselves to their demons and sacrifice to them, them. You will eat their sacrifices, and when you choose some of their daughters for your sons, they will lead your sons to do the same. And it is credited as ancient settler proverb. That is Exodus 34:15, which is not an ancient settler proverb, which I think is a very interesting choice with considering the metaphor of the film.
I think it also tells you the point of view of the film right there, because
100%.
the indigenous people in America at the time would not know what your Bible was, and they would just think you were quoting passages of some ancient philosopher.
Yep,
you know, like
that's what's
they
up.
would have no context for that. I kind of, in hindsight, love that, although it is from the Bible.
It is from the Bible. It is also instructions to the ancient Israelites in the Bible on how they are to interact with other groups of people in the lands that they are colonizing and settling in within the Bible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's very apt.
Yeah.
Great way to start the movie. But we open on a man in a boat fishing. Again, best cold open ever.
It's so good.
We get a chyron that says, or rather like a center title card that says, Red Crow Indian Reservation, 1981.
Yeah.
He comes ashore with fish. He's gutting the fish. It's pretty gross. But then all of a sudden, the fish that we just watched him gut are flopping around and alive.
Yeah.
Fully alive.
This is why I did a really bad job in biology class with the dissecting of the frog.
Yeah.
It started to jump around.
Yeah, it hopped up with a hello, my baby, hello, my honey, hello, my ragtime gal. And you're like, of course that's Todd's frog.
My teacher didn't believe me either, but I did just throw it at Russell. I just threw it, and it was not alive. But my teacher did not find it funny. This is a true story.
I thought you were doing a bit. Oh, I'm sorry.
I did like that you broke into the yes and because you thought it was a bit, and I was just telling you a dramatic story of a time I got in trouble for throwing a frog at my friend Russell.
What's the worst thing you had to dissect in school?
A frog.
Yeah, that was me too.
Actually, let me rephrase that. A frog that I had just thrown across the class and hit my friend with.
It had some dust on it because it had been on the floor and shit.
I mean, I had to pull its organs out anyway, so it was fine.
Yeah, frog was the worst one I ever had to do. One of my friends in high school that went to a different school had to do a fetal pig.
Oh, that was one that was rumored that you would have to do, and it never actually came to pass, thank God.
No, and that friend is now a medical professional, so it's probably for the best, but yeah. Oof.
Oddly enough, a lady eats a fetal pig in this movie.
I mean, yeah, kind of. But the fish are alive, which immediately raises the hairs on your neck. You're like, oh no.
Oh, it's like, what the hell is happening? You're like, it's only asking questions. And this is when it fades to black title card. And you're like, hell yeah, I'm in for the ride, baby. Let's go.
This is also our first hint at what I'll call it zombie scientific mythology is of this movie that I find great, underexplained, but over understood. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think they do a good job of not pinning it down to anything, but giving you enough so that you kind of know, you know?
Right.
It's some sort of virus that you catch either through the water or the things that are contaminated by it already. So humans and fish and that kind of stuff. I assumed it was something that was dumped into the water supply.
Probably.
Or just general pollution or whatever, you know?
Very probable.
Yeah.
The answer that we get in the movie we'll get into a little bit later because it's one that aligns with the metaphor, and I actually really love the answer they give.
Yeah.
But it is notable that not everything is infected. Deer, moose, they are all safe.
Yeah, land animals.
And
then the water that comes down from the mountain is safe.
Right.
Because that comes from rainwater. So there's something in the filtration process that is just natural precipitation.
Right.
That cleans whatever's the problem with the water in the rivers out, more or less.
Anyway, we open after the title card on a burned landscape. Because there are some animated pieces in this movie, which I think they're actually used really well to kind of illustrate something that crosses over both the metaphor and the day-to-day life of the characters.
Yeah.
Where we have a pregnant woman with green vines. I choose to believe that this represents either Mother Earth or just the land in general personified as a woman.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Yeah. But then we get more credits, and these credits play over kind of establishing footage of the reservation and where everyone lives and kind of the difference between the town and the reserve and the dividing line between them, which is a bridge.
Yeah.
But Then we open in front of a house where a dog is dying.
Yeah.
And Trailer, kind of one of our main characters, who is the sheriff, I believe.
I think he's the police chief. They call him chief. Yeah.
They call him chief, yeah.
But the police chief for the reservation, not for the town.
Not for the town. And the town, who is supposed to be working in tandem with him, is not providing them resources. We'll get more on that later. Anyway, there's a dog dying. It is his ex-wife's dog, we will find out. But they're not sure why the dog is dying. They think perhaps it got into rat poison in the trash or something.
Yeah.
And the dog is clearly in pain, so he shoots it.
It's real sad, but like it is probably the right thing to do, although because of the zombie apocalypse, this dog comes back. But
right.
Yeah, it's in a lot of pain, and you don't want it to have to go through that. Like normally when you see someone kill a dog on screen, they're the villain. This guy gets a pass because of what was happening, I guess.
Right. And he puts the dog in his trunk, and as he's kind of closing up, I believe it's Wood who basically or Moon is his name, who basically is like, hey, I would love to kill my ex-wife's dog.
Yeah.
Moon's not a great guy. We'll find out later. But he's like, have you met my ex? We immediately cut to Joss.
His ex.
Chopping wood.
Yeah.
She is strong, independent, and smart. Joss is a great, interesting character, and she's in Scrubs, so we know that she is some sort of medical professional.
I love that this scene started with chopping wood and then went to making tea, and she was in Scrubs. I was like, oh, this is like every nurse I've ever met. Like, I don't know. It just seemed crazy to me that it started with chopping wood. I was like, this lady's awesome.
It's one of those things that, like, I think because so many of us live in cities and don't have to chop our own firewood, we don't think about it being a thing that you have to do as often as you have to do. But for a while, my grandparents lived up in the mountains, and they would either have to chop so much wood ahead of time to get through the winter, or they would have to like buy wood or constantly be finding and chopping wood. If we were there during the summer, we had to like help grandpa split logs and stuff for like ever. But yeah, it's one of those things that if you live with central heating and air, you don't really think about, but it's probably a daily thing. Yeah.
I remember like growing up as a kid doing this with my like stepdad and grandparents, and stuff like that, because they had like wood burning fireplaces and stuff.
Yep.
I loved it. It was so much fun. But it's not fun if it's like a requirement. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If it's a chore, it's way less fun.
Right. That's, and it is winter.
Yeah.
When all this is happening. There's snow on the ground. So I assumed she had a wood burning stove of some sort.
That's what I assumed too, yeah.
Anyway, he walks into her house and she's like, oh, you're here earlier than I expected. Doris called, right? And he's like, no, I haven't been home. I've been dealing with something. He doesn't tell her about the dog. I think he chooses to kind of spare her.
Yeah, I think he was going to have to tell her eventually, but maybe that wasn't the right time.
Yeah, I think once he finds out about, because Doris is the dispatcher.
Yeah.
And we find out that his son, Joseph, has been picked up by the cops, which is her son as well. It's the son they share.
Yeah.
And we will find out later his other brother from a different mother is with him.
Yeah.
So I think knowing that they're going to have to deal with that today, he chooses not to also put the dog on it.
Yeah.
But as he's leaving, because she's like, they're only going to release him to you. And he's like, all right, I'll see you there at noon. Like, we'll figure out when we're going to get there. And he stops and he's like, are we shitty parents? And she's like, no, but I think he's kind of going through a thing and figuring himself out or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's why his dad decides to leave him in there till noon. He's like, you're going to have to sit around and think about it because, I don't have time to deal with this today, essentially.
Yeah. So they leave him locked in a cell with someone who's got the zombie virus. They don't know that.
Which they don't know at the time. But he gets in his car. He calls Doris at dispatch. This is when he finds out Lysol is in there too.
Yeah.
But also Doris is like, hey, weird stuff has been happening around town. There was like a drunk guy who ate somebody's chickens. I don't know. It's weird, but your dad called and he sounded scared. Now, I love that he goes immediately to his dad's house the second he finds out his dad sounds scared. And once we meet his dad, if that guy's scared, I'm fucking terrified, bro.
Yeah, if Grandpa is scared, I'm standing behind him also scared.
Shit is bad if he's scared. Oh no. So he rolls up to the pawn shop / camper where his father lives. And he's like, hey, Dad, what's going on? His dad's like, look at the fish I brought in this morning. And he's like, all right, they're gutted fish, but then they start to move. And he's like, what the fuck?
Zombie fish, son. Have you never seen zombie fish? Because that's what these are.
Yeah, he's like, we got to burn it right the fuck now.
Yeah.
And so they take it out to the burn barrel and they hear the dog moving in the trunk.
Yeah.
So he opens the trunk, the dog lunges out, he shoots it again, they burn the dog too.
Which, unfortunately, that's what you have to do.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And I do love that literally immediately, Trailer's like, shit's fucked up. You're a deputy now. Go get Bumper from his cabin in the woods. I'll go get other people. We got to figure stuff out. And he gets a call from Doris that he has to go check on a man who's been calling for an ambulance and the ambulance won't come.
Yeah. I love that he was like, Grandpa, we just had to kill Spot from Pet Cemetery. You're a cop now. You are a cop. I deputize you. Grab your samurai sword. This shit's getting weird.
Yeah, this movie wastes no time. By minute 30, half the town is dead and we are like transported to 6 months in the future. It's fucking wild.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's so fast.
But we cut to the jail because he has to go pick up his son. And I apologize for in the future for what happened in the past where you had to listen to those vomit noises that were very realistic.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
They were gross. And you see him like vomiting up his internal organs. Like it's clear he's dying and is about to turn.
Yes. But because nobody knows it's zombies, we don't really know that that's what's happening. We assume he's hungover. But this is where we meet Joseph and Lysol, a.k.a. Alan, the two sons of Trailer, but from different mothers.
Yeah.
And we will find out that Alan / Lysol's mom is dead. And we know that Joss is Joseph's mom.
Yeah.
But they have this conversation where we find out that Joseph got arrested on purpose so that his dad would bail Lysol out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to go into how he got arrested on purpose?
Yes, because this is right around the time when we find out, because his parents do finally get there.
Yeah.
And Trailer is like, what did he do? And we do get a fun cutaway to the crime where he climbed to the top of the bridge and then took a shit on the first car that came under. And my if that happened to me, I don't even know what I would do. Like, I would lose my mind.
I definitely would set my car on fire. I thought it was like 1,000,000 to 1 shot. Like you've got to dump just at the right time to hit that car as it goes by. And he hits it right on the windshield, guys.
Right.
Like 1,000,000 to 1 shot. I was very impressed by his like speed and accuracy.
It was great.
It's crazy. I hated that she turned on the wipers though, because shit went everywhere.
No, just making it worse.
I know.
Spreading it around.
She's definitely got pink eye. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, so much. Well, she's probably dead from a zombie outbreak, but like,
I actually do think she might be the same lady who gets chainsawed her head. So yeah, she's definitely dead either way because she's Italian.
She's dead either way. I just remember working at Sur La Table one time. We had a back door that opened out and it had a little alcove where our dumpster was. And someone had taken what looked like a painful human shit. Like that's how large it was.
Yeah.
And there weren't animals around to be that large. It would have had to have been like a horse or something. But like painful human shit, and left it right behind the door to the point where if we had opened the door out, it would have just like spread a rainbow of shit across the back. So I made giant tweezers out of a cardboard box to flip it into the dumpster. Retail management, not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, that's terrible. God.
Had to kill so many rats. Anyway.
But that was in that rat fight club you joined. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you got that Ratatouille tattoo.
Yeah. Because I took Tui at a time.
Hell yeah.
Boom. Fuck them big mouses. Anyway, Trailer goes to let them out.
Yeah.
And as they're like waiting to be let out of the cell, the guy starts barfing up blood and they're like, oh no, like he's dying. So by the time they open the cell door, they are kind of backed up against the cell door and they're like, I think he's dead. We had nothing to do with it. Watch the cameras, or I guess not because it's 1981.
But still, I mean, they didn't throw him up to death. Like he's clearly either sick or like violently ill either way. Like that's not something they could have done, I don't think.
No, when the cop first goes in there and he's like, don't go anywhere, I think he thinks that they beat him to the point where, but then they have no blood on them. So like, how could that? The guy's covered in blood, right? And so literally he goes to check on him. The dude's alive. It's a zombie. It's a free for all. And Joseph gets bit. Now, I do love that the movie doesn't introduce the concept of the immunity until halfway through the movie, because if you're a horror viewer, you're like, oh shit, Joseph's dead.
Yeah, you're like, Joseph's dead. And then in a second, you're like, oh shit, the chief is dead.
Right.
You know, like Trailer's dead. So like when it cuts to 6 months later, I assumed those characters had died.
Right.
And then they just show up and you're like, what is happening? I thought that was such a cool way to introduce it, to literally sleep on it until it becomes relevant to the story.
Yes.
Because no one's going to talk about that until it happens. So of course it's not going to come up in the story. I thought it was so well done.
Right. Now, the cop almost beats that guy to death, but he's a zombie, so he's still fucking alive.
Yeah.
And they leave because they're still like, oh, this crazy guy in jail bit me. I should go get a tetanus shot. And that's as far as they think about it.
Yeah.
Because nobody's like, zombies are real, right? Like
you would do you would 1000% do this. Like zombies are not attacking in your mind. You don't even know what zombies are. They don't exist in your universe in pop culture.
Right.
So like this is how you would react. And when Joseph's mom, who's a nurse, goes to get more tetanus,
right,
she's like, where's no tetanus? And then the lady is like, oh, emergency room came over and cleaned us out. They've been getting a lot of bites recently. Mm-hmm. Like that is what a zombie outbreak would start as. It's like, it was just so interesting. I liked it a lot.
Well, and that scene is coming up in just a minute because like his mom picks him up and in the car, she has a real heartfelt conversation with him of like, hey, I understand why you feel for Lysol and I can't speak to your dad's choices because essentially Trailer, it seems, has been a very absent father for most of his life. I'm sure he has his reasons. We will never really find them out. The movie doesn't spend a ton of time on it. It really tries to depict his character as seen within this time of peril.
Yeah.
Kind of like Die Hard.
Yeah. I really do think Trailer puts off a vibe of a guy who knows he's not been the best guy his entire life and is really just like trying to be better, man. Like he really is a guy who's like putting in the effort, but it clearly has demons and we don't really know what they are, and that's fine. But what we do learn in this scene is that Alan, who they refer to as Lysol, was living with the mom at the time she died and then was put in foster care, not given to him to raise, which they don't really go into why that is. But then there's some implied bad stuff that happened in foster care.
Right.
So like that is his sort of arc. And that's why he refers to his dad, Trailer, as just sperm donor. Yeah.
But, well, and we never find out what happened to his mom.
Right.
Like we can guess, but we never, and even when people talk about it, they're like, oh yeah, I forgot that was your mom.
Yeah.
But like, we don't know what that means, right? And it doesn't really matter. They never have to really define it. That's one of those things where I just found out something crazy about the movie Weapons months after watching it. And I guess, spoiler if you haven't listened to the episode or haven't seen it, spoiler alert.
Gladys is Ronald McDonald's aunt.
I mean, could be. Zach Krieger told Amy Madigan, the actress who played Gladys, decide for yourself and don't tell me. But either you were human and in order to avoid dying, you have now turned into something that has to continue to do evil deeds to avoid dying, or you're not human at all and you are some other being. You can decide for yourself what either those are, be it human that is transformed or call it alien who doesn't even understand what humans are. But don't tell me. You just know.
Wow. That's cool.
Right?
That's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like this is one of those moments where it's like he knows how his mom died and it's important to him as a character for him to know. And it's not necessarily something we as the audience need to know or understand, because just by virtue of the fact that we know something bad happened in the past, we understand why he might act the way he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For us to understand the story they're going to tell, that's all we need to know. Mm-hmm. And it still works. It still very much works.
I appreciate the brevity and choices they make in what they tell us about people to get the story moving.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in this car ride with his mom, his mom is like, hey, you're about to become a father. Like your girlfriend is pregnant. You guys are about to make choices. And it seems like at this point, they're not sure if she will keep the baby or not. When they get to the hospital, he's getting a tetanus shot. She's there to have an appointment where she is considering abortion, potentially.
Yeah.
Now, she will never get the chance to make that choice because of what happens. But they get to the hospital and they kind of have a conversation of like, why'd you get bit? What's happening? Like, are we going to do this? Are we going to do this together? We don't really get the answers. We cut away to Alan, aka Lysol, and Trailer having a conversation where he's basically like, hey, your brother is a good kid. Please stop getting him in trouble. And he's like, fuck you, Dad. Like, you were never around. Don't tell me what to do about the other kid that you're also not raising because he's not together with Joss. Yeah. So, like, why don't you be a better dad is basically where he leaves it.
I mean, it's pretty much the vibe of you're not my real dad, but he is his real dad, so he can't say those words. It's everything else, though. It's like that vibe.
Right.
He even calls it, this is where he calls it a sperm donor because unfortunately, Trailer has not really been a dad to this kid because of the circumstances that played out.
Right. Now, while he's having this conversation with Alan, this is where he gets the call to go by that house where the ambulance hasn't come. And the guy has a girlfriend, the implication being that he has been there multiple times for, we will find out, drugs or domestic violence. Yeah. And he's like expecting that is the kind of call he's going to walk into. Yeah. So they part ways. We go back to the hospital. This is where they find out they're completely out of tetanus because of the bites. And this is one of those things where it's done so well because it's like a small hospital and we know that the ER is just the other end of the hall. And we just see a nurse run past her. Yeah. And as he's running, the door's still open from when he ran. And we see just people attacking people in the ER. And he just, as he goes past her, goes, run. And we don't know anything else that happens after that point for a bit. Yeah, it's a crazy choice. They cut away from that. And you're like, what is happening? And this is not where they jumped 6 months. No. They cut away to a different scene that's happening at the same time. It's nuts. I mean, it's wonderful storytelling, but it makes you lean in so hard. Yes. We then cut to that house where he's going to what we suspect is probably a domestic violence call. Yeah. The male partner is on the lawn under the influence and he's saying things that sound like hallucinations. So Trailer's like, you're high. And he's like, it didn't have fingernails. It didn't have a mouth. What we, I guess, are meant to understand is that because his wife was also under the influence of any number of things, the baby, unfortunately, was probably born either A, stillborn, or B, with complications. And in some way, she died in the process of trying to have that baby while they were waiting for the ambulance. So Trailer goes upstairs and she's like eating the baby and just like dragging it around. It's real rough. It's almost as bad as that was it Evil Lurks or was it the other one that had the baby with the head? I mean, this is pretty much what my conservative relatives refer to as a late-term abortion, right? Like that's what this is. This is what they describe to me when they think that happens. Anyway, I mean, I don't remember what movie it was, but this really affected me. I hated it so much. It like really messed with me. And that is to say, it's effective. It scared me. I did not like it. Yeah, of course. But this is that baby fetal pig I was talking about because that's what I had to tell myself. It was like, that's not a baby. Because it like, I hated it so much. It's clearly a baby doll covered in blood, if that makes you feel better. But like, yeah. I just pictured a fetal pig. Just like they did in MASH when it wasn't really a chicken. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Guys, if you're old, you get that reference. All two of you. If you get that reference, be careful on your knees. Like they're coming. It's coming up. It's happening soon. If you get that reference, have you had your colonoscopy recently? Exactly. Yeah. We're just trying to look out for you. AARP discounts are just around the corner, buddy. Ooh, early bird specials. It is interesting to note that because he runs out of the house, she chases him out. And as he's basically beating her to death, he caves her skull in because she is relentless and has eaten a baby. And it's like a whole bunch. Well, and also bit the husband or boyfriend that was there, right? Like she is clearly being violent, Paige. Like, yeah, she bit Trailer on the hand as well. Yes. So they get in the car and drive away. And as they're driving away, her husband, who I believe is Snooker is his name, or Shooker? Yes. Shooker. It's Sooker. It's Sooker. I just looked it up. Sooker. Okay. Yeah. He, in the car, and this is our first clue about the immunity, and if you're watching it a second time, you catch it, but like first time, where he's like, why did you have to kill her? I know people didn't like her because she was white, but that's extreme. Yeah. But that'll set the stage for like, some people get infected, some people don't. As they're driving, he gets a call from dispatch that's like, hey, The hospital is a fucking nightmare. Joss is in an ambulance. She needs your help. And he sees the ambulance coming over the bridge.
Yeah.
And it crashes on the bridge. So he drives to where the crash has happened. And that's Josh, Charlie, and Joseph are all there. But Joseph gets trapped in the back with a lady who bites him. And again, we're like, no, Joseph.
I know, because at this point, you're kind of like, oh, damn, they're all dead. Like,
right.
Either from their bites because the zombie eats them or just because they're going to turn eventually too.
Right. And so she bites him, but they get her out of the car. She's trying to bite Josh. She's trying to bite everybody. And who should show up but Bumper, newly deputized because the dad went and got him from the camp up in the mountains or whatever.
Yeah.
Who chainsaws her head in half.
Yeah.
And that's where we end Act 1.
Yeah, they literally like 6 months later it's crazy.
6 months later, we see some giant bonfires and we cut to what I will call the like compound.
Yeah.
And we see Lysol chaining a zombie up to the front gate.
That zombie's there the whole movie, by the way.
The whole movie.
They come back to this front gate late in the movie and you're like, oh, hey, our buddy's still there just hanging out.
That guy's still there. Yeah. And the gates say in that same spray paint, they are dead and they bite. Basically being like, they're not people.
What it says is if they're red, they're dead. If they're white, they bite.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is such a good like tip at what the metaphor is, right?
Right.
If they're red, they're dead. So like they're probably already shot and they're on the ground. If they're white, they're either zombie turned and are going to bite you or they might bite you later.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because like the lady who does infiltrate the compound gets in because she's not bitten. They can't find a bite on her.
She is, but she hides it.
But they don't find it on her. Yeah. So like in their mind, she's just like a survivor that turns, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But this is where we meet James, who is one of the other basically teens in the compound. And she, if you are a Reservation Dogs fan, she played a Laura Dannon on Reservation Dogs.
Yeah.
Super fun. But she and Lysol found one of the last cherry fun dips. And he's trying to get her to trade a blowjob for it. And she is not taking the bait.
No, she is not.
Go for her.
I love it. She's like, well, if it's that easy, you can get it from anybody. Like, I don't want this.
So this is where Joseph, Charlie, who is now many months pregnant, close to 9, one would assume.
Yeah, maybe a few days from birth, perhaps.
Shows up with a handful of other survivors, a man with a clearly very sick girl.
Yeah, I mean, he's carrying her in a blanket.
He's carrying her. And then a young woman, probably in her late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
And they immediately clock the little girl as sick. It's a real dark joke. But when Lysol's like, let me show you to our palliative care, and it's just a pallet.
Yes, I thought that was so funny. I was like, oh, shit, Lysol's smart.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. Like, he's the kind of smart and the kind of, like, enough trauma in his youth that he might do bad things. You know what I'm saying? And get away with it.
Right. But they're like, your daughter's sick. She has a bite. Like, we cannot take her. Why did you bring her here? And like knowingly, because he didn't tell them that she was bit.
Yeah.
And they're like, she gotta die. Like either you kill her or we do, but like.
And that's when they reveal that they see the bite or they find the bite on her or whatever. Like that's when he's like, well, I should have been honest about that. I'm so sorry, but I hear you guys know how to cure bites, like zombie bites, which at first I was like, oh, maybe they do because we saw some of the characters get bitten and then they seem kind of fine.
Right.
And then it's revealed that like, no, we can't solve this for you. It's just not the same kind of problem it is for us.
Right.
Because we are immune. Yeah.
Right.
It was a really cool way to like reveal the immunity 35 minutes into the movie.
Yep. So they escort the adults in because the little girl has now died on the pallet. Just naturally, she was sick. She died.
Yeah. And they're like, listen, you don't want to see what comes back and what happens to what comes back. Like he's going to do some damage with that axe and it has to happen. And I'm sorry, but you're not going to want to see it. So he agrees kind of because he goes with them pretty easily.
Yeah. The gates close. They do kill that little girl with an axe. But they feel sorry about it. They're like, I've never had to kill a kid. This is fucking rough. Like, I hate it.
I get it though. But like the thing is you have to, or it's going to kill you. It's like 100%. One of the sad realities of zombies. Like it's the same sort of choice that they make in the first sort of scene of The Walking Dead, both the comic book and the show, right? Where he like rolls up on that gas station and there's like a little like 8-year-old girl or whatever it is.
Yep.
And he has to brain that girl with his pistol. You know, like it's a hard but correct choice.
Right. As we walk into the compound, James turns to him and she's kind of explaining what happened to her family. She's like, the dogs got my family. I was too attached to my family dog. And she's like, we're immune to the virus, but we're not immune to being eaten alive.
Yeah.
So like they can still kill you. Like you could get bit and survive it. But if they rip you apart, you're not surviving that, right? Like,
yeah.
I like that the movie makes the distinction. But this is where she takes the blanket from him to burn it. And he's like, it was my little girl. And it's like, that's not your little girl anymore. Like, that was a zombie. And your little girl died whenever she got bit, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they know that it's transmitted through something. And why risk the blanket, you know?
Right.
And there is like blood all over it. Like, you don't want the blanket, man. We don't have like industrial washers anymore in the apocalypse. So like this blanket's, pardon the pun, a wash. Like, we just got to burn this shit. Like, get it out of the place.
Yeah. And so she then escorts him to Joss's nurse's station. But she says, remember, ain't nobody immune here but us. So don't feel safe.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Which is it's kind of like a holding cell to see who turns. And I know that that's dark, but like,
you gotta,
if you want to come into the community, you got to quarantine to show that you don't have like the disease, you know?
Right. We don't see her talking to the gentleman. He goes to the bathroom. She interviews the woman first, who basically is like, hey, did you eat any salmon? Did you eat any dogs? Did you eat any people? And she was like, no.
Yeah, this is where we kind of get the rules for how it's transmitted. Although it's also very unclear. It's just it's shown that these people on the reservation have figured out, okay, land animals seem to be okay, and the river water that leads into the ocean is not great maybe, but the mountain water is fine. So like they figured out a way to make it work.
Right. And she's like, has anyone said yes to eating people? And she's like, I don't care what other people said. Did you eat people?
Yes.
And she was like, no, I'm fine. And I didn't get bit. Can I go to the bathroom? Well, we go to the bathroom and we reveal that she did get bit.
Yeah.
She is bit.
Yeah. I think it's very cool that they know all of those things about like salmon's not good to eat, or maybe like seafood, which like I get it. It's gross. Like I do not like it.
Not a fan.
So like I would be safe for sure. I'd be like the only townie like not experiencing symptoms because I'm lonely and I hate seafood. But I do like that it shows that because they're immune to it, so they would have had to figure this out by kind of trial and error, not like testing on the people who come to town,
right?
But like they're trying to keep the survivors alive. So you like go to salmon, right? Because there's a lot of places to fish. So like you're seeing that turns them too. Okay, well, no more salmon, guys. You know, so like they would have had to have been accepting survivors and trying to make it work with survivors for a while for them to realize all these things.
Right.
I think that's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Because for them, they can probably eat salmon. They can probably like drink filtered water from the whatever because they're immune.
I think it'd be tough to eat salmon because it would be alive. I mean, unless you cut the heads off, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how zombies work in fish.
I mean, listen, all you got to do is throw it in fire, and I'm not going to eat sushi, so we're definitely firing up that salmon. You know what I'm saying?
True. Anyway, as she's in the bathroom, she notices blood coming out of the last stall. She peeks over the top, and the gentleman from before has killed himself, but he immediately comes back.
Yeah.
And so at this point, Trailer has to come in and kill him with a machete, where it's tough, but it's like, you gotta, right? You can't just have an active one, right?
Yeah.
We then get a little bit of a montage with voiceover of like, we try to do right by survivors. If anything happens, we go to the church. We've got boats there.
Yeah.
The bridge was a problem for a while, but we figured out a way to fix that. And it's basically just a wood chipper parked on the bridge.
And then like a funnel, like getting all the zombies to like walk into it, more or less.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a zombie lawnmower that's stationary that the zombies walk into. It's all it is.
Right. We then cut to Charlie and Joseph having a moment where it's kind of like, you know, your brother's kind of an asshole. Like,
I did love that it's Joseph talking to his girlfriend about how his brother's an asshole. This is the scene that really sets up we want to like help survivors, and Lysol Allen, their brother, doesn't. He thinks that bringing them into the community is dangerous and we should not allow it, which includes Charlie, by the way. You know, like he doesn't want Charlie there either, even though that's his brother's girlfriend who is pregnant with his brother's child. Anyway, so like that's how stringent he is, right? And then the girlfriend who's pregnant kind of responds, yeah, he's an asshole, but like, I get it. Like he's not necessarily wrong about some things, you know, like I thought that was a very interesting way to like set that up, because he is like a villain that like you can kind of like Killmonger. I can see how he got there, you know?
Right.
Went too far, but I can see how he got there.
Yes. But this is where she expresses that she's like, people look at me here because she is othered, right? Because like there are some, townies there, but like she kind of lives apart from them. She's kind of in both worlds. And she's like, people look at me like my vagina is Pandora's box and I have nightmares of it eating me from the inside out, which like personally, girl, same. I would also. This is a horrifying scenario.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not immune. What if the baby's not immune? Who knows? And she's like, look at what happened to that other guy's baby. And they're like, well, okay, that baby had some other stuff going on. But like, I think yours is going to be fine. Who knows? But we cut to Trailer coming back from killing that guy with a machete. And he's like, he clipped me. And she's like, all right, take your shirt off. Joss is going to sew him up. And this is where we see he's been bit probably hundreds of times.
Yeah, man. It's like he was married to Josh when she was into like a biting fetish kind of a thing. Like it's that much biting.
Right.
It's a lot. But it's also like, oh, well, it's because he's been defending his community against zombies and they bite and he is immune to those. So like eventually they would heal. But he has so many teeth marks on his back. It's crazy.
It's crazy. But I also love that he's like still worried about Joseph. And she's like, he's a good kid. He's loyal. He's smart. He's a fighter. The end of the world is terrible, but he has kind of stepped up.
Yeah.
You are your father's son. And so is Joseph.
Yeah.
Basically like we may have not worked out or whatever, but you are trying to do the best in a horrible situation. So is your son. And that to me is what makes you good people.
Yeah.
Which I think is really the refrain of telling stories about your grandfather to your child is heartbreaking, but so sweet through the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But we find out that there is another kind of outpost held by a guy named Rob Muppet, who was not part of the reserve, that has kind of herded women into a sort of compound, and they feel like they have to go clear it out because it's likely that they are all infected.
Yeah.
So as they're kind of prepping to go do that, this is also where we get Grandpa's wonderful line of like, you don't have to reload a sword.
Yeah.
They're also going to try and get the gas reserves there. And this is where Lysol is like, I'm kind of over protecting the whole when it's mostly people who would have treated us bad, people who could infect us. I'm out. I'm going to go have a party at my place and I'm taking the gas for my car to go. And they're like, let him go. He would probably just be a bit of a wild card if we took him with us.
Yeah.
So he heads out. I called them in my notes, the uncles, but just the older men collectively get into a car. They're going to go take care of this little outpost.
Yeah.
But Trailer does tell Joseph, follow Lysol, basically like go to his party, keep an eye on him. So meanwhile, at Lysol's party, which we know that Lysol hates the white people. And so it's unusual that one of them is there, aka Lilith, who we will find out Lysol hooked up with prior to the outbreak in a pretty rough story where he was going down on her and she had fallen to the communists. It happens.
Yeah. He came out Pirate Redbeard.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's why he was in the drunk tank, because they thought he was fighting.
Right.
He wasn't fighting, Paige. He was loving.
Yeah. He's a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is also while he's having the conversation with Joseph, where Joseph's like, hey, can you stop being an asshole? Like, times are tough for everybody. We're all just trying to survive. There's no us or them. We're all trying to get through this together, even though there is an us and them, because there are differences in the danger of one versus the other. But he's like, I empathize with the survivors. I'm trying to save them. And Lysol is like, fuck all of that.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. But that girl is here, so I'm going to see if she wants to hook up again. I do want to take a brief detour to note that the strip club that he met her in was called the Fish Mitten.
Yeah, I saw that too. Gotta love the Fish Mitten, Paige.
That's one of the grossest things I've ever heard. It's so nasty.
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes to hook up with her. We cut to. He like goes to the back with her. It's implied that a few minutes passed. And Joseph passes Moon, and Moon gives him the idea of why this is happening as kind of a thesis statement for the movie a little bit.
I think so too, yeah.
Where he's like, the earth is an animal. White men don't understand this. I think the planet is sick of us and how we were treating it and how we were using its resources. And so it has found a way to turn them back into something useful, which is fertilizer.
Yeah.
And he then says, he's like, well, what about us being immune? And he says, who says we're immune? Maybe she just forgot about us, but maybe not forever.
Yeah.
Basically, this idea of like, if you do not treat the land with respect, it will take you back. It'll take you. They learned the hard way. They were probably dumping stuff into the water, and now they are paying the price.
Yep.
And we are immune for now, but who knows what'll happen. But while that's happening, Lilith bites off Lysol's dick.
Yeah. It's a bad day at the office for Lysol.
It's a bad day at the office. Now, here's the thing about biting off somebody's dick. Usually you bleed out very fast.
Well, I mean, some men bleed out faster than others. You know what I'm saying, babe?
That's true. I'm just saying from an injury standpoint, probably he lives way longer than he would have.
You think she cauterized the stump? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
Oh.
I think it's more just that the movie has an unclear timeline from this point forward. We don't know how late in the night it is.
That's fair. But after this, he does make terrible decisions. So like...
He makes terrible decisions. He doesn't have that post-nut clarity.
No, literally can't.
Literally can't. But somebody else gets similarly badly injured and lives for a lot longer than one would think.
Yeah, John Wayne Bobbitt? Yeah.
No. I mean, yes.
Wait, did he only make bad decisions after it was reattached? We probably, I wonder if it was like, that's what it is.
I'm here to tell you he made bad decisions before.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Lots of them.
I'm sure, yeah.
He was not a good guy. She deserves an apology.
And also like a cast trophy of it.
I mean, I don't know that I'd want,
She definitely wouldn't for very valid reasons.
Anyway, we cut away. Like, bad shit has happened, screams, cut away to the older men going to that compound. And we watch as they are methodical in the way that they kill them. They pull a rope, so they trip them. They shoot them in the head with shotguns. They've got the chainsaw. This is where the guy ends up hanging out that window. And they're counting. They're like, okay, this is only like 4. So there's anywhere from 6 to 7 to maybe 10 more. But like, where are they? And they watch as a door opens and a body with a head missing like flops out of the door. And inside those 2 doors is Grandpa Rye, basically standing atop 10 fucking dead zombies. Yeah. And the only way it would be better is if he had their names written and then just wiped the blood across the names.
Love it. I would have loved it. Yeah.
Love it. But so they have dispatched this entire like compound. So they make their way back to their compound. However, they are beat there by Lysol and Moon, who drive back with Lilith in the trunk.
Yeah.
And Joseph is like, why are we bringing her back? What's going on? And before he can kind of surmise what's happening, Lysol stabs him.
Yeah.
And he lives very long with a stab wound.
I mean, it's fine. Eventually, Joseph teaches Lysol how to properly stab a brother to death.
Right. But he basically, like, they throw him inside and then he watches as Lysol releases Lilith to just try and infect as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Which... short-sighted. I think his initial thought is, oh, she's going to kill all the white people. But it's like, but then they're weaponized against anyone else who's there and is maybe not in a position to fight back with weapons or whatever. And so it just kills everybody. It is, some people just want to watch the world burn is basically what he becomes in the end of this movie.
I honestly thought it was just like this guy's rage led him to do a thing because he thought that weapon or that weaponized community would only go after the people he wanted them to go after. But no, they'll go after everybody. They don't care. So they'll destroy everything. I thought that was such an apt analogy way before that happens, in society. I was like, oh, damn, they called it. Well done.
Yep. Meanwhile, we cut down into the infirmary, which we know is on the basement floor, basically.
Yeah.
And Joss is telling a story about Joseph's grandfather to a kid so he can fall asleep. And this is where Charlie is like, I'm scared, and starts to have contractions and her water breaks. Fun thing I learned that I didn't know is apparently that starts like a ticking clock as far as like safety of the baby. Any other time I've seen it happen, like in real life or been around people it happened to, that baby came within a couple hours, so it wasn't like a thing. But apparently you ideally got to deliver that baby within 12 hours of that happening. So I do think this movie, the rest of it occurs within those 12 hours. I do think we're like accurate.
Yeah.
But like, I just thought that was interesting to note.
I mean, you always knew that baby was a ticking time baby. Like it always was. Yeah, it's Chekhov's baby.
Yes. But literally, her water breaks as the zombies that have now been weaponized upstairs are trying to come down into the infirmary. Joseph gets in, but he is stabbed and has probably been bitten a couple times.
Yeah.
And it is a massacre upstairs.
Yeah, like everyone else is dead and turning, more or less, which means the guys who were just out, you know, Trailer, his dad, Grandpa Rye, and the other team members that like went to go clear out that like women's home that had turned. I don't know what else to call it.
I think it was a gas station that a guy was like, I'll keep you safe. And then he was just a creep.
Yeah. And then they all turned. Like, they had to kill him, more or less. But like now that team who left the safety of their compound are going to have to assault the compound to save the people who were in the infirmary, which is like, you know, Joss, Joseph, Charlie, and a few survivors down there. And everyone else is dead or now a zombie.
Right. Some of the few survivors, I think it's really interesting, and it's blink and you miss it, but Joss is like, everyone stay calm. We have the other exit. And a guy just decides not to listen to her and just runs for a door and immediately gets killed. Yeah. And I'm like, it's what you get.
Like a real moron.
Yes. But essentially, she's able to call out to Trailer to tell him what's up. So they get to the wall and they can see mayhem behind it. So they open the doors and they say, who's got the most meat on them? Meaning, who can manage to get bit the most and survive?
Yeah.
And they use the car as like a Pied Piper, the police car. They turn on the sirens, they fire a gun, and they lure everyone in the courtyard out of the compound.
Yeah, I thought that was such a good plan. Because,
so smart.
Of course, zombies are going to attack the sound and go after it. And he just like slowly backs away as they're just like climbing on the car. He's like, I got this, guys. I'm going to clear these main group out. I got this, right?
Right.
I think he might die. Like, I don't think we see him again.
No, he's the one who comes back with the boat.
That's right. He does survive. This guy's a badass. I kind of want his side of the story too.
Or rather, he gets them into the boat. We'll get to it.
Right.
But Trailer and Grandpa Rye make it down to the infirmary. They're trying to get people out of a very tight stairwell. The scariest part of any zombie movie, a tight stairwell.
Yeah.
And the door is breaking down and he's like, go, please run and be safe. And then tell my grandchild stories of how I was basically brave in this moment. And then the door breaks down and he gets ripped to shreds. It's very sad.
Yeah.
Like I cry every time. But they're running with Grandpa. They get in like a truck of survivors goes. That truck goes to the church. However, as they're getting out of the stairwell, who should come up but the cop car? So he does come back. They pile in the cop car.
Yeah.
This is where they hear from Dispatch, because Doris from Dispatch still alive. They basically tell her to tell them that they're killing people in the church. And they literally hold her hostage and then sick a zombie on her. So she dies, like, right after giving this message.
Yeah.
They show up to the church. Charlie is in active labor.
Yeah, she's giving birth, baby. Like, this is coming.
The church is messed up, and Moon is dousing it in gasoline, and they're piling up survivors to basically burn the entire church down and all the survivors in it. And James is helping him.
You might say it's one hell of a metaphor.
Yes. And I was like, it is not on accident that this is happening in a church. Like, this is exactly. But as Moon is making his kind of like speech about it, Grandpa just katana through the like side of his head.
It's so dope.
Incredible.
I loved it. Yeah.
So good. And he's like, where the fuck is Lysol? Tell me where that fucking coward is. Spoiler, Lysol's outside.
Yeah.
And just as Charlie's about to have that baby in the car, he has another infected person in the trunk, and he basically is he's threatening to shoot Joss. She puts the gun down.
Yeah.
But he releases the girl from the trunk. She shoots him, or shoots at him.
Yeah, I think she hits him once, but it's not fatal.
Yeah.
I think it's like in an arm or maybe in the side. I don't know, but
right.
I think she hits him once.
But she's out of bullets and can't get to the infected girl in time, who then bites Charlie.
Yeah.
So now we know that Charlie has not just a ticking time clock for the baby, ticking time clock on life, where she has to live long enough to deliver the baby, we would assume, because we don't know if the baby's immune or not. And so
that's a big question, right? Because it's
big question.
Yeah, Joseph is, but his mom is not immune. So like, where is it a recessive trait? Like, we don't know.
We don't know. And you guys did Dawn of the Dead back when I sounded different. the 2004 one where it's in a mall and she had, well, I mean, they're both in malls, where she has the baby in the mall and the baby comes out all messed up. I think this is a way more interesting way to handle that, of like, the baby is fine, but it's like, can you hold it? Can we trust you to be close to it? Which is like real rough and makes me cry a lot.
I mean, they shoot her in the face minutes after she gives birth. Like, it's so sad. Like this. Ugh.
But they have to. They have to. Anyway.
I know. We'll get there.
I know. Anyway, Charlie is bit, but now our group has managed to collect themselves enough. They grab Lysol. They drag him out into the middle of the field, stab him, and then fire shots to basically call the zombies.
It's brutal. I love it. It's what he deserves, but it's brutal, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He gets basically eaten alive.
Well, after being stabbed, like, he would be going through a lot of pain.
Yes.
And that death would take a while. Like, it's terrible.
Yes, it is. But they run for the boats only to realize that Lysol and his team have like lit the boats on fire.
Yeah, they burned their ships.
Except for one, who I think it's Bumper, who was driving the car, comes around and has a boat. They're going to try and get in it. And as they're running towards the boat, Grandpa is like, I'm not leaving this land again. Don't look back here.
Yeah.
Basically like, you go, tell my story. Bumper, unfortunately, catches a stray and dies. So they make a run for the boat.
Yeah.
They get out to open water. And Grandpa basically just stays there and wrecks zombies.
It's awesome.
Until he dies.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And he does get a little animated thing that maybe implies that maybe he survives. Who knows? Because he's standing on top of a pile of zombies at the end.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like far away. I could see him surviving. Like,
who knows?
He is immune. So as long as he didn't get any like fatal bites, he'd be fine.
Right. But we then cut to the boat where she gives birth to the baby. The baby is okay, but she kind of passes out. She wakes up and it's this like, thanks for letting me hold her, but like, I can't keep holding her. I don't want her to be in danger. And you're just like, oh my God, no. And then he shoots her. Yeah. And then like cuddles the body, which I was like, she might still come back.
Like, I know. I don't trust my accuracy with a firearm that much where like, oof. I'm going to put my face close to the teeth, you know?
Yeah. But Joss has the baby, happy, healthy baby.
And that's the movie. So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, Paige, what did you think about Blood Quantum?
I love it. This is one of those ones where it's like, not a ton of money. Some people knew about it, but not enough people knew about it. I want more people to watch it because it's actually made really well on a low budget with a great script, great cast. More people should watch it. Love Blood Quantum.
Yeah, man, I completely agree with the Discord group that wanted us to do this movie for so many years. Like, it is a good movie that scared me, and I like it. I thought it was a beautifully done movie, but I would hope to not watch it again. It's one of those, you know what I'm saying? So like, well done.
Yes.
But Paige.
Yes.
Do you have some fun facts for us?
I do.
Well, hit us with your fun facts.
Quantum fun facts. So I'll start with this one. Jeff Barnaby, who wrote and directed and edited Blood Quantum and has made other movies as well, passed away in 2022 at the age of 46, which is very, very sad.
That sucks. I was going to say, I want this guy to get so many more movies because he did such a good job with this. Oh, that sucks.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, that sucks.
I'm sorry. I was like, I should tell Todd this.
I know.
Off the top so that you were aware.
That's a bummer. Yeah.
Super, super bummer. So with that in mind, apologies for the rest of the fun facts.
Right.
So the phrase blood quantum is the measure that some Native American and First Nation governments use to define if a person has indigenous ancestry. I would say for this movie, it has dual meaning. A, to, link you to First Nations or Native American indigenous tribe, but also to determine whether or not you are immune, which is key for the baby at the end, because clearly the baby must have the blood quantum that makes it immune.
Yeah.
Now, in the beginning of the movie, when Moon asks Trailer what took him so long, Trailer mumbles Fish Mittens, which is the name of the strip club.
Yeah.
Now, it's the name of a strip club from the movie Rhymes for Young Ghouls, which is also directed by Jeff Barnaby, along with The Colony, also directed by Jeff Barnaby. So it is an in-joke for his other movies, but it's also the strip club that they mention later in the movie. So the director did give a handful of interviews about this prior to passing away. In July 23rd, 2022, at the Museum of Modern Art, in a talk about this movie, Jeff Barnaby said that he'd been reluctant to make a zombie film until he came up with a distinctive angle, which, credit where credit is due, boy did he.
Yeah.
And his idea was, what if the Native Americans had been immune to smallpox? Which I think is a fascinating angle. It's one of the things that makes this movie super unique and very interesting, and it makes for a really interesting story as well.
Yeah, it does.
This was originally pitched in 2007.
Wow. Okay.
At the Toronto International Film Fest pitched this, and that was around the time that his first movie, The Colony, was coming out. It took 13 years to finance this, which, what a bummer. We could have had this earlier. We could have had so many more movies, but I'm glad that we have it now. And this was, unfortunately, his final film.
Yeah.
And those are your fun facts.
Well, that's a huge bummer. Sorry, Paige. But thank you for those fun facts. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget for, and I already told you this, the movie Blood Quantum was? And I'll just go ahead and tell you that it was $4.5 million, which we talked about earlier, which if you adjust for inflation would be $5.7 million today. It didn't get a theatrical, nationwide release. It was brought to the Cannes Film Festival market in May of 2019, so it played there, and it played at a few other international film festivals, notably one in Toronto, and it won a bunch of awards, Canadian awards, and just did really well and got picked up by Shudder, but I don't really have anything on how much money it made because it didn't get a theatrical release in the US, and it looks like the worldwide gross was around $30,000 because it didn't really get a theatrical release in any country.
Yeah, it went almost straight to streaming because it came out so close to pandemic, and that's when a lot of people watched it because we were all stuck at home. We were thirsty for entertainment. And so that's when Jake and I watched this. That's when it started to kind of gather its cult classic, I guess, reputation, if you want to think of it that way.
Yeah. But Paige,
yes,
that's your box office. Do you want to hit us with that scary scale?
Sure. Our scary scale is a scale of how scary we found this film while watching it today, with 1 being Ghostbusters, 10 being Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I almost flipped those. How scary did you find the movie today?
I'm going to give it a 4. It's manageable, but especially if gore is what gets you, there's a lot of gore in this movie.
This is very gory.
Yeah. And it looks good. It looks like it was all practical, honestly. I mean, obviously some of the fish flopping around don't look exactly practical, but a lot of the gore looks really real. Anyway, I'm gonna give it a 4.
Awesome. For me, this is, I would still call it a 1. I wasn't super scared of it, mainly because I liked it. I was enjoying it too much. Sometimes when I'm enjoying a movie, I don't get as scared of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's your scary scale.
Yeah. So this week, Paige, you made us watch Blood Quantum. What are you going to make us watch next week?
Next week, and again, something that has been requested a ton in the forums, the groups, we hadn't done a Thanksgiving month, I guess. We just missed the mark. So we are doing Eli Roth's Thanksgiving up next.
Yeah.
Which I think if you thought this was gory, get ready, I
guess.
Yay.
Although Eli Roth has made some good things, so I have high hopes, but maybe shouldn't, because he's also made some things that aren't my favorite.
I still maintain that he's a better producer than director, but that's just me. But for next week, we will be watching Thanksgiving.
And you know who else is a better producer than director? George Lucas. That puts him in the Hall of Greats. Anyway, listeners, that's your homework for next week, is to watch Thanksgiving, which I assume is just a documentary about Eli Roth's visit with his family.
Perhaps. I think people get killed at a parade. At least that's what was in the trailer. So I'm excited for that. Hey, do you have any reviews for us, Todd?
I do. This week, I'm going to read a comment and I'll do one from our most recent episode, which was technically us dropping the Crimson Peak episode in the Horror Virgin feed. And I want to just quote what and that's the name of the person, the letter I.
Okay.
This is what their comment was on the Crimson Peak episode, and it was, yes, it's a tamale. And I felt very justified by that. I thought that was really funny.
Can I tell you? So I live in Los Angeles where Dia de los Muertos is celebrated.
Right.
And I saw many a dress made from corn husks as like a traditional like fixture of an ofrenda. And it looked incredible. And I was like, her tamale dress had nothing on these dresses. And it was my first thought was the stupid Crimson Peak dress.
That checks out.
Yeah. Yeah. They were way cooler.
But I'm going to read this comment from our actually most recent Thanksgiving episode. And it's mainly because I got to give credit to some solid pun work out there that Daniel dropped in this morning when they said Necro Gobblecon was right there. Yeah, I was like, damn, Daniel, that was great. Back at it again with the white vans and the solid puns. But if you want to have me read your 5-star Apple review or Spotify comment, leave us one of those things and I'll do just that. Especially if you get into a pun battle on the comments, guys. That shit's hilarious. Anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, guys, if you like this show but want to hear Paige and I talk about romantic comedies or just regular romantic movies, check out our other podcast. Some might call it a sister podcast called Romancing the Pod, where we do just that weekly. It's a lot like this show, but for romance and romantic comedies, because Paige doesn't like them. So we make her watch them, just like you guys make me watch horror over here. But if you want to follow me, I am at Todd J. Awesome on all the social media. Paige is at Rampage Wesley on Instagram?
Yes, and TikTok.
And just Paige Wesley on Twitter, because you got that before some CEO lady and she wanted it, but you wouldn't give it back. And I respect you for that.
Refuse.
Also, Paige
Suck it, other Paige Wesley.
Paige is also on another podcast. It's great. You should check it out. It's called Cult Podcast with Armando Torres, who is a wonderful person. And guys, we got a P.O. box. So if you want to send us some love letters or whatever you might send to a P.O. box, it's actually not a P.O. box. It's like a regular street address. It's pretty awesome. It's 6688 Nolensville Road, number 108-34, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027. So send us some stuff. And if you want to support this show, go to Patreon at patreon.com/horrorvirgin, where there are a lot of great levels and a lot of great things. We do the Patreon shout outs at the beginning of every episode. We do listener requests, stuff like that, bonus episodes. So you'll be getting all of that content, plus episodes a day early with no ads, and who doesn't love that? So sign up for the Patreon and get a lot of great stuff.
That's it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd.
Keep it ooky spooky.
Yeah, have an amazing week, guys. Bye! This movie was unsettling, nerds!